and then should be good to go after break.
How much of a relief was it? Derek said it wasn't hip related.
No, nothing with the hip, which is good. You know, the hip feels really good, to be honest with you. So at the same time, it's like it's frustrating when the hip's feeling good and something else, comes up and shows up. So, but I guess you try to find the positives in every situation, and maybe it gives me a few weeks to kind of let everything settle down. I think I played 19 games there in a pretty short amount of time, so get some rest. Obviously, we have the break coming up, and then should be good to go after that. I don't see any reason why I wouldn't be able to come back after the break. So.
Were you happy with how things went after when you first started playing here, and you had been off for 6 months and everything, and just seemed like you got your scoring touch fairly quickly overall?
Yeah. I mean, you go through ups and downs throughout the season, even in that short amount of time. I found had a lot of success there for a short amount of time, like 5-6 games, and then things go dry a little bit, and then you kind of start to heat up a little bit again. So I was starting to feel pretty good when got injured there, so that's frustrating, but pretty happy with the way everything's gone so far, at least for the first 19 games, and like you said, being off 6 months and coming back and being able to play, not only play at a pretty good level, but feel good doing it. I think that's the most important thing.
When you got here, the team had quite a few injuries, going through the struggle in December, and then you guys picked it up here in January.
Yeah.
So you've kind of seen both sides of this team. Just what are your impressions just from watching these last several games of this team's potential?
Yeah, I think we'd be a tough out in a 7-game series, to be honest with you, the way we're playing right now. So it's been impressive. I think like you said, there were some injuries there for a little bit. Then we got back into a groove once everyone got healthy, and the team's been playing great as of late, especially on this homestand here, taking advantage of playing at home. I think is a big thing. So nice to see us getting some much-needed points and be in a playoff spot here going into the break.
Patrick, how will you approach this break? Obviously, just having not played a game in a while and having this stretch off. Do you think you'll find yourself on the ice a little bit, or will this just be a complete mental break?
I think a little bit of both. I think I'll definitely be on the ice before our first practice on the 8th, but at the same time, try to get away a little bit. More of a mental reset than anything, especially when you're injured. It seems like, I don't want to say more of a grind, but you're kind of at the rink for a long time, trying to get in everything you can to help speed up the process. So more of a mental break for a little bit, then come back, get on the ice, and I think when I come back, hopefully it's a positive thing with the break, that I come back and kind of on a level playing field with everyone around the league, just not coming right back off an injury and jumping right into to play when everyone's been playing for a while and in the groove. So it'll be nice to be on even ground when I come back.
What has stood out to you about watching the team from above?
What is what?
What has stood out to you about watching the team from above? Because it's a very different game from up there than at ice level.
Yeah. No, I think we're just kind of playing predictable. It seems like everyone understands what the next play is out there. Don't really see too many big mistakes. I think that's a big thing in this league. If you can make your opponent work for everything they get, then as an offensive guy, you always like when you can get turnovers or things can come a little bit easier and you can create that way. So I think we've been playing pretty stingy defensively, and a lot of depth scoring too. I mean, a lot of guys have been chipping in. Obviously, Larkin's been playing great and he's been on fire, but a lot of contributions across the board.
Those basically the reasons that you kind of think this could be a dangerous team come April.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, a lot of depth. I mean, every team I've been on that has won, you have a lot of depth on the team. You're not just going to win with one guy scoring 50% of your points, or 2 lines, or just one year we had 4D that were playing. I'm surprised we got through that year in 2015 and won, but that was kind of a grind. So you need to have everyone going.
I don't think this last time injured, was it more frustrating given knowing how much time you'd already missed?
Yeah.
Or was it just more kind of routine?
Yeah, and I think it was kind of a fluky play too, right? Like you just kind of get checked into the board, so I know my back was facing the guy a little bit, but it was nothing you think you would have any problem with. And even I fell again that shift, and then skating back to the bench and skating on the back check, everything felt fine. Just felt something a little bit off on the bench there. So I guess it's kind of a good thing. I mean, everything's feeling good out there skating wise and everything. I think just trying to be cautious with everything right now, and as frustrating as it is, you get back, you're playing, and you're getting into the swing of things, and schedule-wise, practice, playing games every other day, and you love being in that schedule, and then all of a sudden, it's taken away from you for a couple of weeks. So definitely frustrating, but try to, like I said, let the mind reset here through break, and come back ready to go.
Was it the first play or the second play, or a combination of the
I think it was the first. Yeah,
the first
it's kind of like I
back?
said. I mean, I was skating fine back, on the back check, and then back to the bench. I felt fine, and then just you feel something on the bench. So I think it was the first one.
I don't think we've had the chance to ask you yet, but Daniel Sprong gave you some credit for his goal on Andrei Vasilevsky against Tampa, that you told him to go below glove side. What was that conversation?
I don't know. I like to talk to him about hockey, and we talk about different things throughout, especially when I am playing. We kind of, spend a few minutes together kind of before the game just talking about things and the upcoming game and players on their team or whatever it is. And I saw him that morning and just kind of gave him a little hint. So I saw him get the breakaway. I'm like, is he going to shoot here or what? And he did, and he scored. So it's pretty cool to see.
Is there anyone kind of obviously playing against a lot of these guys for years? Anyone whose game you play come to appreciate more, or something about them that you kind of come to? I didn't know that about.
Jeez, I mean, I think there's a lot of guys in here. I look at like a guy like Perron. You don't realize how good he is at protecting the puck and winning battles. And then you see it from playing with him and watching when I've been injured lately. He's so good at protecting the puck and getting pucks back. Trying to think. There's, Larkin, Easy, Raymond. I think Seider's been very impressive. He draws a lot of tough matchups and does a pretty good job every night doing that. Yeah, a lot of guys. I mean, even that line with Kopp and Rasmussen and Fisher, they've been doing some special things as far as like getting pucks in, and it's almost like your running game in football, right? They kind of have a ground game where they get in there, hold it in there, and can sustain some zone time. So a lot of good things going on right now for sure.
Thank you.
Pair of assists last game, 100th career NHL assist. Did you know that milestone heading in, or what was that feeling like to get to reach that?
Not really. I think I was more focused on JT and likes there, and pretty cool moment though, and really happy with the outcome for sure.
Larkin yesterday talked about some of the good habits he's seen this month from you guys. In your eyes, especially defensively, what have those been?
We're breaking on puck out pretty solidly and on really consistent basis. I think we're doing a much better job of getting the puck up ice quick, regrouping fast, and then challenge their forwards on good pinches, make hard decisions on them, and I think that's a complete game.
The growth between you and Wallman too, as a defensive pair, can you maybe shed some light to what that's been like and where you guys, in your eyes, have seen the most growth in your games together?
I think consistency. I think we really had a lot of good games, but we always want to push for, your A game 82 times. It's not always going to be possible, but that's what we try, and I think we're a lot closer to that than we were last year.
How big would it be to just close out the month with another win? Where you guys have been playing, and then an 8-game break like that? I mean, that would be.
Yeah, it's definitely a must-win game for us. I think that's how we want to approach it. We've been doing a really solid job of competing against our divisional opponents, and there's always a little more emotions in it than any other game, and I think we want to show that tomorrow.
I mean, that last time you guys played them, obviously, I mean, do you think some of that emotion could still carry over?
I mean, we try to keep our heads cool. I think whatever happens in the past stays in the past. I think, like any other team, we'll stick up for our teammates when anything happens, but I think we're not looking for anything. We want to play solid hockey. We're a really mature team, and I think we can we can get the win with playing really smart hockey tomorrow.
Hey, just going to Mosey's question, what's turned it around this month compared to December?
I think we're playing like a real winning hockey team. We don't do any easy mistakes. We always track the puck. We backcheck really hard. We don't give up odd men as often. And I think those are the big keys. I think the PK comes up big in important situations. We find ways to penetrate on our power play, and overall we're just having a lot of success in sustaining ozone, and I think that's been definitely the difference.
Thanks, Mo.
Thank you.
Patrick sounded like he doesn't think he's playing tomorrow.
Yeah, probably be cautious with it and give himself the 8 days, so we won't expect him tomorrow.
Before he got hurt, how much had you noticed kind of his assimilation, him kind of feeling out everyone else around him and kind of working at it now?
Good, and it grew, and that was the frustrating thing about the timing of the injury, in that he was starting to take some ownership of the group, involved in some leadership meetings, a little more vocal during the games, was getting a lot more comfortable. So absolute pro. His demeanor, his approach, been great. I think it can be very valuable for the group. So we'll be excited to get him back after the break.
Rita, is he?
Billy's under the weather a little bit, so just kind of this time of year, flu bugs been kind of in and out of the room, which I'm sure is most teams throughout the league. So we sent him home today, feeling a little bit under the weather.
So Alex tomorrow.
Alex will play tomorrow, and Rhymes will back him up.
How impressed have you been with Alex's just resilience? You talked over the past few days about how he looked tired in Dallas in the big first 2 goals against Vegas,
Yes.
but that he immediately responds.
Very impressed. There's something to his resilience, something to his compete. And the other day, I know I've mentioned it a couple times, but just his bounce back in that second and third, some of his best hockey of the year, and that's a mouthful with how well he's played for us. I think that speaks volumes of who he is and the competitor he is.
Did you not know much about him before you guys signed up?
A little bit. I remember him in
somewhere.
college. He's a USHL. Kind of that path. So I was very familiar with aware of him, the success he's had in the American Hockey League, and then obviously what he did last year in that stretch for Florida. So again, really good on our management group. Depth signing. That number 3 goalie hole burnt us last year through some injuries, and I don't think they're going to let that happen again this year. And thank God, we've needed that goaltender depth.
As a coach, how do you advise your players to look at the break? Like, I know most of them, take a little trip or a vacation. But
Yeah.
do you like that they take it as a full mental reset?
Yes.
Away from
Yeah,
it?
get away from it. Again, I just think it's just a different athlete today. They'll go decompress. I hope they have some fun, but I just think today's athlete, they're always on top of it. Back in the day, you'd be trying to get guys in shape. That's not the case now. They're tip-top athletes, and they just take it very serious. I think the guys will be very similar. I do like the fact we'll get 2 practices in before we play that afternoon game, which is Vancouver.
Do you like the way they do it now? They combine the 5
I do.
All-Star break
Yeah.
for one long
Yeah,
break.
true decompress, if you will. Create some scheduling issues on the other end, and I think the guys will trade that off for that time off. We got a compounded issue in the Europe trip, so we live that torrid stretch through December. But every team's going to have it now. But I think that's the trade-off. You're going to grind through some back-to-backs, some 3 and 4s. But I think the trade-off is this long extended break.
Cat set to be in Toronto this weekend for All-Star break. Has he come as advertised for this group this
Yes,
season?
been great pickup. The player's been advertised. He's been excellent for us. So he's provided goals. But the human being is just a great person. He's awesome, infectious. Everyone likes him. I did not know that about him. So he's been a nice addition to the group.
Does the coaching staff get to decompress over the break with you?
No. I will be. I tried to fit a schedule in there, but chasing 2 boys around minor hockey, my daughter around with soccer. Any little window, there was a game in there, so I'll do the true minor hockey dad. I'll get on the ice a couple times. I'll hang out at the hotel lobby, have beers, and complain about the coach. Like that's what you do in minor hockey. So no, I'm actually looking forward to spending some time with the kids.
Where's the tournament?
Well, I had one in Chicago, but they actually canceled that. So they'll be all over. So there's the 2 boys going, and my poor wife. I don't know how she does it. And thank God for other families. But I'll be pitching in for sure.
Do you mill around with the other dads and they're like,
I do.
oh man,
Of course,
why did this guy do this?
No, of course not. Of course not. I'm a coach, and minor hockey parents are crazy. It's just the reality of it. But we have some fun with it. So, and it's that's the go-to, right? You flirt with pretty moms in the lobby, and you complain about the coach. That's been minor hockey for 100 years. So.
Hot chocolate.
Hot chocolates, yes. And then there's always the group of dads that do the parking lot beers. I've never been that dad, but it's always available.
Obviously, one game still left before the break, but how much confidence or satisfaction can you take from the fact that based on how the last month went, you knew this had to be a big one, and then sort of
I think
delivering on that?
you keep it rolling. Again, it's really hard in this league to come up with these stretches. I mean, this hot through a stretch like this, it's just hard to do. I mean, you see what Edmonton's doing, other teams have had a stretch, but we've arguably had as good as a stretch as anyone in the league, and it's put us in a really good spot. You want to get a taste of that on your way out. It's going to be a really tough test. Ottawa's playing very well. It's a really, really talented roster. They seem to be healthy right now. So they come back from 3 goals against a playoff team in Nashville. So it's going to be a really, really good test for us.
In this day and age, is that Edmonton 60? Is that one kind of like, whoa,
that's crazy. And good, it's impressive. I mean, you look at us. We had a 3rd period lead, and we were a Dylan Larkin breakaway in overtime to winning. And then it's for them. They've probably had 4 or 5 games like that. So that's real impressive. They put themselves obviously in a good spot.